Welcome back to Starting Sports. Today is August 15th, 2021, and the topic for today is the Carolina Panthers, and this is their season preview. How this will work, I'm going to go over the roster, give my expectations for the Panthers this year, and then give a general win range alongside a few key games for them in the 2021-2022 season. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm not going to talk much about the offense because I just made a Panthers video where I mainly talked about the offense. I'll link that down in the description. But a quick overview, I think Sam Darnold is going to thrive in this system. He actually has good coaches now. He actually has good weapons. And he actually has a good offensive line. My expectations for this Panthers offense is that their passing game will be good. I think they have really good weapons with Sam Darnold doing well, but I'm not going to expect greatness from the passing offense quite yet, especially when the rushing offense is so powerful. I do expect this rushing offense to be great because you have Christian McCaffrey. Just hope to God he stays healthy because he is the most exciting player to watch in this league. I love watching him. Moving on to the defense, which I think is one of the most underrated units in the NFL, starting off with the defensive line headlined by Brian Burns. I'm expecting this to be a breakout year for him. Yeah, he had a good year last year, but this is the year he really breaks into the mainstream talks where you cannot just ignore him any longer. Another big name that's on this D-line is first-round pick from last year, Derek Brown, the D-tackle from Auburn. He did not put up great stats last year, but stats do not tell the whole story. He had a really good rookie year for what he did, and I think him just taking the pressure off a guy like Brian Burns, or vice versa, Brian Burns taking the pressure off of a Derek Brown is really dangerous for offenses and is going to be really fun to watch for the Panthers defensive line. And they have guys like Morgan Fox and Yetur Gross-Matos to finish out this unit, which I think is good. They have a good defensive line, but what I also would like to talk about is their linebacking core that had a big pickup this year. They signed Hassan Reddick to a 2-year, $16 million deal, which I absolutely love because this dude gets sacks. You put this dude in a pass rushing situation on a blitz, he is good. And you put him with Brian Burns and Derek Brown, that, in my opinion, is dangerous. Obviously, the headliner for this linebacking core is Shaq Thompson. He's the $16 million per year man. I think he's overpaid a bit. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I do think he's overpaid a bit, but his veteran status to a very young defense cannot be understated, as he is a main leader of this defensive squad, and I have great respect for that because, well, he got $16 million per year for a reason. He is a valuable linebacker. Put him with Hassan Reddick with a D-line headlined by Brian Burns. That's a solid front seven. That's a really solid front seven. If Derek Brown can come into his own, then you have a very, very good front seven. Moving on back to the secondary, though, bit of a different story. I personally like the J.C. Horn pick a lot. I'm more of a Pat Surtain guy myself, but I do like the J.C. Horn pick greatly. Put him alongside Jeremy Chinn. That's a really good young duo as your secondary. But for the immediate results, all you really have is Jeremy Chinn. As I like J.C. Horn, I think it's both unrealistic and unfair to expect this guy to come out and not make mistakes. He is a rookie cornerback. There are times where he's just going to get got because he's so young. So I do expect there to be growing pains for J.C. Horn. And I don't think the other cornerbacks can really save him. You have both Dante Jackson and A.J. Boye, which is cool. They're both fine to round out your unit. But I think their passing defense is definitely going to be lacking. But do not get me wrong, long-term wise, Jeremy Chinn and J.C. Horn is a fantastic 1-2 punch. Just for the immediate results, I think it's going to be lacking a bit. My expectations for this defense. With their rushing defense, I think will be good, not great. I'm thinking 13th, 14th in the league with their passing defense, also being kind of below average in that 19, 20, 21 range. Not because they're bad, but because they're young. But from the specific players, I'm expecting big things from Brian Burns, a jump from Derek Brown. I'm expecting Hassan Reddick to be a stud because I really like him. And same goes with Jeremy Chin. I like this core that they have. I love the J.C. Horn pick. I just think they are still young. Give them some time, but I really like this defensive unit. Then, towards the end of the year when the Panthers are making a playoff push, expect this unit to show out because they are very, very underrated in my eyes. So I think this team has really cool potential, and I really like what they're doing right now. But I would like to talk about last year for a second. They went 5-11. Not pretty, not good. They had a first-year head coach, the first-year offensive coordinator, a young defense, and Christian McCaffrey was hurt with Teddy Bridgewater as QB. What do you expect? It happens. But something that shined to me to the Panthers last year was 7 of those losses were one-possession games. 7 of them. Obviously they wouldn't win all 7 even if they had the team that they had now. But that shows something. This team fights. And now they have a year of growth. Sam Darnold is QB with actual weapons now. And their weapons got a lot better, and they signed Moton to his big deal, and Christian McCaffrey is going to be healthy. And now these coaches have a year under their belt. I'm expecting things from this Panthers team that other people are not really expecting. I'm expecting a borderline playoff team. They're in a bit of a tough division, kinda. I mean, like, you have the Buccaneers. Obviously, they're winning that division. Let's not even kid ourselves here. But the Saints are an okay team. They're like a 7-8 win team. And the Falcons are really interesting, but I don't expect them to be a playoff team. So the way I view it, this Panthers team is second best in their division, with a defense that will come into their own towards the end of the year, and with an offense that's going to shock a lot of people, because Sam Darnold working with Joe Brady now with actual weapons and an offensive line that's serviceable, I am liking what I'm seeing. Looking at their schedule, though, some very key things to note. When you look at the first 7 weeks, they don't play a great defense. The Jets don't have it. Saints, Texans, Cowboys, Eagles, Vikings, and Giants. None of them have great defenses. I think the Giants have the best of that group, mainly because of guys like James Bradbury and Leonard Williams. And also week 8, they do play the Falcons. Once again, not a good defense. So I do think this Panthers offense has its wiggle room, because they're going to make mistakes. It's a brand new QB with a new system, but they have wiggle room to make those mistakes. They may lose two pretty easy games from these first 8 just because the offense is getting its shit together with a brand new QB. But this is not a hard schedule to start the year on. I don't think the Panthers will be able to stop the offenses that I think that Dallas has and that Minnesota potentially has. But all in all, I think they're going to start the year out pretty strong. From week 9 on, though, it's definitely a tougher schedule. You start off with New England. That is going to be your first real defensive test. Like, oh shit, we are playing a top-tier defense. And then you have the Cardinals, who have both J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. And if Isaiah Simmons can come into his own, that's another good defense. Then you play Washington and Miami. Washington's insane at defense. Miami has Brian Flores. This is a tale of two halves for the season. Like, the first 8 weeks, you're not playing a very tough defense. Then from there, it's pretty fucking tough. Week 13, they have their bye week, so they're going to be pretty exhausted during these later weeks playing these really good defenses. And then post-bye week, they have week 14 versus the Falcons. Let's face it, that's a chip shot. But then you play Buffalo, Tampa, New Orleans, Tampa. This is a tale of two halves for this Panthers team. They are going to start off this season strong because they're not playing great defenses. my main prediction, my like general prediction for the first 8 weeks is like 6-2 to 5-3. But then from there on out, I think there's going to be a rough stretch. I think there's going to be a rough stretch from weeks 9 to 11 or 12 right before the bye week. And then their defense is going to come into their own. And then from week 14 to 18, those final 5 games where they're trying to make that playoff push, to me is unpredictable because I think their defense is going to come into their own. I think Sam Darnold is going to be playing really good. So I think this team's going to be dangerous down the line. But they're playing very good teams with the exception of the Falcons and the Saints. But let's face it, those teams aren't bad. The Falcons can catch someone off guard because they have the offense that they have with the firepower that they have. New Orleans, with Sean Payton as head coach, he can really rally these guys, and this is week 17. They could potentially be making a playoffs push and trying to knock off Carolina. Those last 5 weeks are unpredictable. We don't know how it's going to be, but all I think is that Carolina will be in the playoff push then, and it's going to be a rough stretch to end the year on. I'm not saying that they're going to lose those games. It's just going to be like the ultimate test. But, yeah, I think this Carolina team is going to surprise a lot of people, and they are my sleeper team in 2021. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Just posted a Sam Darnold video a few days back where I really highlighted the offense. I'll leave that in the description. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed and have a great day.